have field trials going on in the state of Missouri and Puerto Rico and in a few other countries. But we do a lot of the work in-house, and then partner with other ministries to test things out in the field in very regulated, confined areas. So.
Is the main goal of the center to really develop new seeds, new varieties that are going to be implemented places? So it's really about plant breeding and developing new
Right,
plants.
exactly.
Okay.
So I mean,
Through
we think
transgenic research as well as conventional, so there's a range of
every
different.
tool in the toolkit.
Okay.
There's not one tool that's more important than the other tools. Really, they all have their strengths and weaknesses. So before I'll stop talking and show you things pretty soon. But we work in 4 major areas: biofortification of crops, making crops resilient to environmental stress, whether it be cold, heat, no water, bad soils. We have a lot of people working on developing disease resistance of plants. In Africa, cassava is wiped out every year by viruses, a bunch of viruses. So looking at bacteria, fungi, viruses, just any nematodes, any pathogen that could knock out plants. There's a real biosecurity issue there. In terms, you think about bioterrorism, can you imagine, wiping out all U.S. agriculture, what that would do? So yeah, we get money from the Department of Defense to do that kind of work. And then added products, whether it's biofuels, medicine, pharmaceuticals, plastics. So what you can use plants for is because they're renewable. So those are the 4 main areas that we do.
Are all the scientists here full-time here, or are they university-based, or?
Interesting question. Most of the staff here, we're full-time here. We have a few faculty who are appointments between universities, but most of us are adjunct in the university because we don't have a training program here per se. We do train undergraduates. In the summer we have, I think we have 25 undergraduates here for an RU program right now. And I in particular bring in high school students for training. But most of us have adjunct appointments. I'm adjunct at Washington Med School. Everybody is adjunct somewhere because we serve on committees and we lecture, we teach courses. I teach courses for WashU and for University of Missouri St. Louis. We're not an academic institution, but we sure do training and do our academic duties because we believe in it. So,
Eric, you say that you do biofortification, environment, diseases, and what's the 4th point, the 4th area?
So biofortification, diseases, environmental stress,
Yes.
plants tolerant, and then added products, using plants for making things that we need, whether it be medicine, pharmaceuticals, biofuels, plastics, oils, industrial oils, things like that. So.
And to follow on Chris' question, once you develop the new seed or product, you donate it or you give it back to how?
Well, there are 2 different ways that we do things. We hold the intellectual property for what we discover and what we make, but we give it to any country or anybody who could find it useful. So we sub-license everything.
And it costs money?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's free. We provide the training. We bring people here to use the products or to learn how they were made. It's an interesting story. Sometimes we develop cassava for Africa using a line of cassava that's easy to transform and easy to screen traits and stack traits into. But then it comes to identifying what the preferred cultivars of cassava are in Africa. and then we transfer all of those traits with scientists from Africa into those preferred crops, because everybody has their own family recipes, and every food product tastes different and has different texture, and it can be, you know, something that's sacred to a village, for instance. So, yeah, but we do spin off companies. It takes a lot of money sometimes to develop a technology. We spin off companies to develop technologies because sometimes we don't have the financial resources to take it, you know, to the $1 billion stage. You know, it's very expensive sometimes to see a technology through to an actual application. So back behind us is actually an incubator. The building behind us is an incubator and a building that a lot of companies are in. And sometimes our scientists will have the rights, if there's no conflict of interest, not to spin a company based upon a product, but to spin a company based upon a technology. So we can get outside funding from private companies or donors to be able to take it another step. And then that again feeds back into the research infrastructure here at the center. In the center itself, I would say we get money from the USDA, United States Department of Agriculture, from the Department of Defense, the Department of Energy, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, huge donors to the center, the Buffett Foundation, USAID, World Health Organization, and then federal agencies like the NIH, the NSF, NICA. So we pull money from many, many different sources, but sometimes that's not enough to take the next step. Yeah, it could be millions and millions, $10 million or more. So, yeah, so, but our intellectual property, we have lawyers on staff, everything that we can give away if people and countries or ministries find it useful, we make it available to make use.
Can I just follow up on this? We can go in and something, but we had dinner last night with this someone who just finished his degree in anthropology at WashU. Super interesting guy. But he studies rural India and looks at how locals there do and don't adopt new technologies and new crops and things like that. I mean, do you employ anthropologists or people who can help you think about, we've got this amazing new cassava, seed or strain or something like that. How do we get that to the people who need it most, and get in the conversation with them so that they would be willing to try this and something?
Yeah, we have a lot of on-ground people who are not really employed by the center, but who have an interest in what we do and being able to use the crops that come out of the center. I think a good example would be ready-to-use peanut therapies. I don't know, I'm kind of familiar with the ready-to-use peanut-based therapies that are being used to prevent malnutrition all over the world. So there are actually two enterprises in St. Louis that are doctor-based. That one works in Cuba. No, I'm sorry. Where I'm going somewhere. Haiti. And the other one works in Malawi. Those are the two prime areas. But so, for instance, we have generated peanut that is allergen-free, that has higher levels of micronutrients. It's more nutritious. And these are now being used in these ready-to-use peanut butter-based therapies to prevent malnutrition. And so we do have people on the ground in the villages talking to people about these new types of peanut products and making sure that they understand what they are and the benefits of them. And these are long stories and we don't have time for these, but we could be in a country for 10 years and all of a sudden the president will decide no more GM plants in this country, we're done. And we just have to shut down operations after being there and working with us farmers for 10 years. That happens a lot. just because of one person's bias. I'm kind of skirting around the question here, aren't I? To answer the question, we do have people in villages that we're working with. We do things at the grassroots levels because basically the person that we're trying to help are the farmers.
Right.
And break the cycle of poverty among farmers. So it necessitates being there in the villages and working with people. If the countries, if the administrations and the leadership of the countries allow us to do that. So we have a big international office here who does works with all of the different countries, the ministries of agriculture and people on the ground, and try and make that smooth transition.
Thanks.
Yeah, if that's okay. All of this is like long